Hi, my name is Alex Kamath, and I'm the International Expansion Manager at Cubbo. On behalf of all of us at Cubbo, I would like to say welcome to Cubbo, bem-vindo a Cubbo y bienvenidos a Cubbo. So here we are in our Mexico City warehouse. It's an urban warehouse located near Polanco in Mexico City. We receive our company's stock here. If you import with us, this is where we'll house your inventory. That will be after we coordinate the import process for you and get you set up to process payments. So what are the three main services that we offer as part of the international expansion team? The first thing that we offer is our importer of record service, or IOR service. What is an importer of record? An importer of record is somebody, a third party, which would be Cubbo, that takes care of the importation process for you in both Mexico and Brazil. What my team does, and you'll get a dedicated international expansion team member to work with your brand, is we sit down with your brand and we understand what is your product. What are the registrations that are needed to import your product? What is the labeling process that's needed? So every product category in the entire world has a harmonized system code. This is a code that applies to tariff levels. So we look at those codes and we analyze what are the tariff prices that we can pay in Mexico and Brazil. And more importantly, how can we save your brand cost savings on these import tariffs? Because depending on the origin of your product, for example, if it's produced in the European Union or the United States and imported into Mexico, we can lower that tariff for you. We can lower those import costs for you. So that's one work stream that we do. We analyze the import tariffs for you and make a model so that you can look and understand the unit economics based on cost of how much it would cost you to import your product. Once you decide to work with us in our importer of record service, we then work with you to look at the non-tariff requirements that are needed. In Mexico, it's called the Normas Oficiales Mexicanos. We look and see what registrations are needed. What do you need to put on your label? So for example, here we have a product from Dossier, which is one of our lead clients here, and you can see that we have worked with them to create a label that shows us as the importer of record, but also lists all of the components that are needed and all of these technical specifications. That's really important for you to understand, because we want to make sure that every product imported into Mexico has no issues at customs. To date, we're happy to report that we've not had any of our customers' products held up at customs, and we want to make sure that we do it the right way. So part of that process is looking at the labeling requirements. We also take care of, for you, no matter what product you're in, whether it's an electronic hairdryer, we'll do the electronic components testing. Whether it's a cosmetics, we help you do the stability testing. We help you make sure that you're in compliance with everything. And how does it work? How does imports work with Cubbo? We work currently with all possible modalities that you could want to import your product into Mexico and Brazil. So we work on air imports. We talk to your freight forwarder at your airport of origin and understand exactly how to get your product to Guarulhos in Sao Paulo or Benito Juarez in Mexico City. We then transport that product to our urban warehouses after we nationalize it for you. Obviously, air imports are a little bit more expensive, but it's a good way to kind of test the market and get started. The other option that we do is land imports, and this is specifically from the United States to Mexico via Laredo. This is a pretty cost-effective option for those brands that have inventory inside the United States, because it allows you to take existing inventory. We don't need to import it from China or Europe or wherever your supplier is located, and we do the crossing. And how does that process work? We have your freight forwarder in the United States send the product to Laredo, Texas. Our customs broker partner facility there is able to handle the receipt of that inventory. We count the inventory there to create the official pedimento. It's the document that you need to import into Mexico. We handle all the labeling and we do the counting of the product. After that, we do the cross in Laredo, Texas to Nuevo Laredo. Once the crosses happen and once you pass customs effectively, we then move the product from Nuevo Laredo to Mexico City. We organize a trailer to transport that product into Mexico City. My team and a dedicated team member works with our great staff members here in our warehouse to ensure that your product is received on time We do dock to stock in 24 hours, and you can instantly see in the platform what's the status of my inventory, and you can see when that product is ready for sale, and we can see that, you know, our team members here are picking, packing, and the moment an order is placed on your Shopify, it's delivered instantly and picked and packed instantly. We do same day with cutoff times of 4 p.m. in Sao Paulo and Mexico City to deliver your product same day in both of those major centers. That's our land import option. And our final option, this is probably for companies that are really willing to commit high amounts of SKUs and product, is a shipment via the ocean or a maritime shipment. So the third option is a maritime shipment option. This is when you're ready to really send us high volumes of products and a lot of SKUs. In Mexico, if your product's coming from China, we will receive that product in the port of Manzanillo. If it's coming from Europe, we will receive that product in the port of Veracruz. It's the same process that we apply for land shipments. We do the customs clearance, the counting, the generation of the document called the pedimento, which we use to register your product in front of the Mexican government. We pay the import taxes, nationalize the product, and bring it here to our Mexico City warehouse. But that same process also applies in Brazil. We ship the product from wherever you want. It can be Europe or China. The product will arrive to Vitória, Espírito Santo. We're also working on and offering other ports such as Santos and Sao Paulo State, Alagoas. There's a lot of options, so you just ask our team and we work with you to get the best benefit. And why do we import to these ports? It's to save you money on ICMS, which is a state tax. With that special benefit, we can reduce the import burden on you. And as you know, the Brazilian market has a lot of taxes, so whatever tax savings we can do is very helpful. And the process is the same in Brazil as well. The product arrives in Vitória or whatever port that you want. We clear customs, and then we bring the product to our Sao Paulo website. So that's an overview of our importer of record service. Again, to recap, what is importer of record? It means that we take care of the importation for you. We're saving you time and money because you don't need to set up an entity inside of Mexico. You don't need to get your importer's license. We handle all of that for you. We pay the taxes, we nationalize the product, and we bring it to our warehouses in either Mexico City or Sao Paulo. But the second major offering that the international expansion team does is called the merchant of record service. A merchant of record means that we have an entity, a wholesaler entity in either Mexico or Brazil, that we can process the payments for you and also make sure that you're in compliance with local sales tax law so that there's tax paid on every sale to end consumers, and to make sure that you're in compliance and that you don't have any issues inside the country. Also, as part of our merchant of record service, we serve as a legal representative of your product inside each country, and we make sure that we respond to any kind of issues that might arise relating to the sales of your product in Mexico and Brazil. The merchant of record service exists to help you launch effectively in any market that we work in, which is currently Mexico and Brazil, and we're also considering expanding to other countries in Latin America. We save you the time because it takes you many, many months to set up your own entity, to negotiate with payment processors in these countries, and to set up a tax ID, all of that stuff. That's what our merchant of record service does. We have already negotiated with the top payment processors in both Mexico and Brazil, and we are trying to help you start selling right away. And of course, the merchant of record service, it's just a temporary service. It's the goal of international expansion as customer service, that's one of our philosophies here at Cubbo, is to help you launch. We want to help you import. We want to help you sell. But ultimately, if you're having a lot of success in the market, you're free to set up your own entity and to process all those payments. But it's a convenience factor that we offer to our customers here at Cubbo. And the final service that we offer here at Cubbo is obviously domestic logistics. That is our core business. The international expansion team is trying to get your product into our core business, which is domestic logistics. And what does that mean? Once your product is imported into either Mexico or Brazil, it's received by our teams here at the warehouses. We promise dock to stock in 24 hours, meaning that you'll be able to see within 24 hours the real-time status of your inventory on our platforms. Our platforms have integrations with all of the major sales channels: Shopify, WooCommerce, Liverpool, Walmart, Amazon, Mercado Libre. We have all of those integrations. When an order is placed on any of those sales channels, in real time, the order is picked, packed at our facility here in either Mexico City or Sao Paulo. Then we do the last mile delivery, and it depends on, the timing depends on where you are. But if it's an order placed before 4 p.m. inside Mexico City or Sao Paulo, we deliver same day. And the majority of your orders in both countries are delivered within 24 to 48 hours. So that's a great savings in terms of speed. And as we know, speed wins in e-commerce, which is a great value add. We also handle the process of reverse logistics and returns for your team and your product and your brand. We also have customer success agents that work with your customer support agents to handle all types of problems such as carrier disputes and all of those things. And we offer all of these services: storage, receipt, pick and pack, all for one flat price. And we also offer access to our digital platform, which allows you to have a lot of different functionalities, see the status of your inventory, and it serves as a WMS. So you could be sitting in Europe, in France, in the United States, and you'll know exactly what your inventory is doing, how your sales are doing inside Mexico and Brazil.